I'm Mike Perkins from CarGurus, and this week I've been driving the redesigned 2017 Lincoln MKZ. They've given it a new front end, a fresh infotainment system, and even a new engine in an effort to shave off brand loyalists from BMW, Mercedes, and Lexus. But with Cadillac now offering a competitive midsize of their own in the CTS, the MKZ has a lot of work to do in order to present a viable alternative to segment standards. So let's start with the front end. Gone is the split-wing grille that's dominated Lincoln design the last few years. That actually debuted in the production lineup back with the 2010 MKZ, so I suppose it's fitting that it dies here as well. Lincoln fans will remember the Continental concept that showed off this new design direction back at the 2015 New York Auto Show, but it's going to start off here for sale with the 2017 MKZ, and the rest of the Lincoln stables will follow suit. Now, it's not as striking as the split-wing grille, although I never really fell in love with that either, but it's hard to argue that this isn't handsome, especially with the new chrome stripe along the bottom and these fresh headlights. And those get a new LED stripe and some LED accents as well. Now, a quick glance to the rear might lead you to believe that nothing's been changed, but that's not the case. These exhaust surrounds have been widened, and there's a new chrome strip along the bottom to match the front. Plus, the badging's been switched up. It now says 2.0T here instead of EcoBoost, as Lincoln continues to try to distance themselves from parent company Ford. Because remember, this is a Fusion. That's right, same chassis, same wheelbase. Not that either of those are a bad thing. But what the MKZ does offer that no one other than Lincoln has is a brand new 3-liter bi-turbo V6. This is a 400 horsepower monster of an engine that offers an equal amount of torque if you go with all-wheel drive. If front-wheel drive is your preference, you're going to have to deal with just 350 horsepower, but even that is 50 horsepower more than the outgoing 3.7-liter V6. And despite all that extra power, fuel economy numbers are nearly identical. Now, with this new engine, the MKZ goes from one of the slowest options in the midsize luxury segment to one of the fastest. You're going to have to jump up to the M3 or the S4 if you want more power. Now, this is the top-tier reserve trim outfitted with the intelligent all-wheel drive system. But because it's the 4-cylinder, you don't get the torque vectoring like you would in the V6. What you do get is an extra 5 horsepower over last year and a lot of drivability with some impressive fuel economy numbers. Of course, impressive is relative. By that I mean the EPA rating for the 2.0 fitted with the 6-speed automatic and front-wheel drive is a combined 24 miles per gallon, 21 city and 31 highway, dropping down to 20 city and 28 highway here with all-wheel drive, for a combined rating of 23 miles per gallon. But over the course of a full tank of gas where I've been cruising along the coast, stuck in traffic jams, and driving around the city, I've managed an average of 26. That's not something I get to say too often. Usually EPA estimates, especially on turbocharged cars, are much higher than what's achievable in real-world application. That's a win for Lincoln, but it must be noted that competitors like the 4 Series and the A4 are estimated even higher at 28, so there's that relativity again. Now, for comparison's sake, and a bit of fun, I put an entire tank of gas through this thing with the transmission in sport mode, and that tightens up the steering and the suspension and holds on to shifts longer. And what I got was an average of 19.9, which is a pretty dramatic shift. And what I found out is I actually prefer the ride in drive mode over sport, which can get a little bit bouncy. This is surprising because Lincoln actually softened the suspension this year. And that's not to say that I don't enjoy driving the MKZ, because it's actually a lot of fun. The chassis is tight and responsive, just like I remember in that Fusion I tested a while back. And despite not having that torque vectoring system, the traction stability control systems are a nice balance. There's a bit too much torque steer when you're coming out of a turn and you give it gas and it starts sending power to the rear wheels, but there's still a lot of fun to be had there within the realm of approachable limits, let's call it. Now, for those familiar with the MKZ, it's the center console here that's going to present the most dramatic change. Gone are all those futuristic slides for temperature and volume, as Lincoln has gone back to more traditional knobs and toggles and buttons. It's a bit busy and a little disorganized at first glance, but everything feels very nice and solid and well damped. A bit of simplification and distillation, and I think they'll have a winner. They've gotten a lot of flack for these console-mounted transmission buttons, but I love them. They're clear and they're out of the way, although a couple of passengers have accidentally put me into driver sport mode when fiddling with the touchscreen. And oh, that touchscreen. No more my Ford Lincoln Touch. It's all Sync 3 here, which looks a lot better than the Fords I've tested that had this same system. Here it's nicely designed, which was my only complaint with the version I tested in the Escape, for instance. It's fast and functional and comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. That's the way to do it. This top-tier reserve trim was fitted with some nice options as well. The panoramic roof is amazing. The damn thing makes me greedy. All I want is for it to open wider. But if you want a more traditional power moonroof, then you can have that as well. And given the panoramic is a $3,000 option, I bet a lot of people will go with tradition, even though that single panel moonroof is $1,200 itself. This version came with the blind spot monitoring package, and with these thick C-pillars, it's something I'd recommend. If you go with the middle select trim, it's a $1,255 option and well worth the money because I really can't see much at the rear corners. Now this one came with the $2,400 technology package, which adds adaptive cruise, pedestrian detection with auto brake, auto wipers, lane keep assist, and that auto park system. I'm not sure I'd pull the trigger on that one. As cool as the auto park and as useful as the adaptive cruise and the lane keep is, but I'd definitely get the blind spot package. Definitely. Now a luxury package has also added LED adaptive headlights with auto high beams, plus what Ford calls a concert level 20 speaker stereo. Ultima. The stereo sounds great, and the auto high beams are a fun touch, but for $4,400, I think I'll deal with a few less speakers and having to click the stalks to adjust the high beams. Speaking of which, these are new Lincoln-specific stalks, no Ford parts bin here. They look and feel great, although I wish the paddle shifters were metal instead of plastic. It's the little things. Rear seat capacity is slightly cramped, but wholly tolerable, and trunk storage remains unchanged at 15.4 cubic feet of very usable space. Just like in 2016, the redesigned MKZ gets a 5-star overall government safety rating and a top overall score from the Independent Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Although it must be noted that the MKZ received second-best scores in frontal crash tests from both organizations. So what do you think? Is the redesigned MKZ enough to make you consider something other than the German and Japanese standbys or the newcomer CTS? I mean, I've had a lot of fun with this guy, and I can't wait to try out the performance of the new V6. If you're looking to stay American and you want some more luxury than just all-out performance, I'd say the MKZ is a hell of a good compromise. Hey, thanks for watching. For full details on the redesigned 2017 Lincoln MKZ, just click the link in the description. You can head over to CarGurus.com and read my full test drive review. And for more reviews, just subscribe to the channel.